Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Nothing Like a Good Book. Great to have you. We've had some marvelous authors on. That's what the show is about. If it's your first time tuning in, appreciate it. Stick with us, stay with us, support the channel with you, because the bigger we get, the more authors we can help, and the more we can, kill those scams out there in the industry as well. I get a lot of emails over that, so that's why I'm sharing that. But this show is dedicated to authors. It's about discovering your book and about promoting your book. Yeah, your baby, your book. And hopefully it helps you sell some more books as well. Something special today. I am going to open with a foreword, which I don't normally do. It's by Vincent J. Folletti, MD. He's the co-principal investigator, actually, of the Adverse Childhood Experience ACE study. Now, over the past several decades, the growing field of trauma research has revealed an undeniable truth, and that is what happens to us in childhood can echo across a lifetime, shaping our physical health, our emotional well-being, and our behaviors in ways that are both profound and, for many, unrecognized. So while data from the Adverse Childhood Experience, ACE, as we refer to it, that study helped illuminate the public health implications of this reality. The personal stories behind the data are what truly brings science to life. Dr. Debra Palmer's Between Wounded and Well, that's the name of her book, Lessons in Healing. Between Wounded and Well, Lessons in Healing. It's one such story. It's told with clarity, humility, and remarkable insight. In this personal and professionally grounded memoir, Dr. Palmer shares her journey from childhood, marked by adversity, to a life of service, purpose, and healing as a nurse practitioner and educator. Her story is not just one of survival, but one of transformation. And with that, I'm proud to introduce to you to Dr. Debra Palmer. Welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, it's lovely to have you. I know that was a lot intro, but your book is so deep and it's won a lot of awards and this and that. So I'm trying to give it a bit of a, why, this book is written, what it refers to. I mean, let me ask you this then. How does your book relate to the process of emotional healing and physical healing? Because there's two different things there, right?
Thank you for asking. I use the 4 stages of physical wound healing as a metaphor to frame my story, which is about emotional, spiritual, and relational healing. There are stages we go through, and we build on each stage. And you have to go through all of them to get to the point of healing.
All right. Now, in the book, there are 4 stages, correct?
Yes.
All right. Share those with us, if you would.
Of the physical healing, there's hemostasis when the bleeding starts. We have to stop the bleeding. And I equate that to awareness that we're healed, and awareness of what is motivating us to want to stay well or get well. The second phase is inflammation. The body starts the fight against whatever's invaded it. White blood cells, an army of healing nutrients.
Right.
And it begins that healing phase. That's the hot and painful and swelling stage. In emotional healing, we go through something very similar. And I call that the acknowledging phase. We have to acknowledge that in order to fight this off, to heal, we need an army, we need a team, we need connections, we need unity, something we connect with that gives us the resources and the tools to continue the healing phase.
Right.
In the third stage of physical wound healing, the body now has to fill a gap, that wound, that wide open gap from the wound. It starts bridging the gap with new healing tissue. It sends in nutrients and proteins and to do the work. And I equate that in emotional and spiritual healing to the third stage that I call action, activity, or activating your potential. It's doing something. To know about it is not enough. We have to take steps. If we don't move through our pain, we
Right.
don't heal. And the fourth stage, as our body is healing, is called maturation. That's when scar tissues are forming. It's never going to be completely the same tissue it was before, but there's new rearrangement of proteins and structures that help improve function. And in our emotional healing stage, that fourth stage, I label that acceptance. Accept your scars. They're not evidence that you're broken. They're evidence that you've healed. And sometimes we just have to let go of some stuff, like the body lets go of that which isn't helping it in the healing process. And we have to take on stuff. That's part of our awareness, what we let go of and take on in the healing process. Because I believe that healing is nothing more than a reciprocal exchange of giving and receiving one another's time, talents, resources, our gifts. We have to give them and receive them. If we can't give them, we don't understand what our purpose is. It kind of builds our purpose. So it's this continuous exchange. Healing is a process.
So, how do these, what am I trying to say? Yeah, build. How do they build upon each other? How do you explain that of these four stages?
Everybody's different. Some people never get to acceptance. Some people are stuck in one of the earlier phases. Some people never get to the point of awareness of what's motivating them to want to stay healthy or well. So it's not the same for everybody, but I do just know that our body teaches us a lot. There's processes of healing, and they build upon each other. And it's a natural process, and I think it's an innate internal thing that we're driven. That first stage of awareness, I think we are all driven to try to understand what gives us meaning in life. What is our purpose for wanting to get up tomorrow? Some people mask and they don't want to understand it. They deny it, but eventually it keeps coming back. It's part of our human consciousness, I believe.
We're going to get back to that. You're a transplant from the Midwest, actually, residing now in Northern California with your hubby, and you like to be near your children, right? Your grandchildren.
Yes.
When you're not working on your wellness business and writing, what do you do personally as a soul to find restoration? Do you have a hobby at all?
I love hiking. We moved to Sonoma County. There's wonderful places to hike. I participate in a faith community, a Methodist church. I do volunteer work. My current wellness project is helping to minimize social isolation in our senior population by recruiting more volunteers for Windsor Wheels, which is a volunteer organization to help seniors get to their doctor's appointments and grocery shopping. Because for me, life is only worth giving when I'm connecting. So moving up here, I had to find a new purpose. So that's what I started this wellness business, and this is one of my first projects. I also love gardening. We have a little yard, and actually lately I've been so busy with the book. My husband's actually taken up gardening and helping me. And now I live closer to my grandchildren. We try to make it a point to connect on a monthly basis, or my daughter, my son.
That's the thing, isn't it? When we get to this part in life. You earned your Bachelor of Science in Nursing from the College of Saint Scholastica?
Yes, a Benedictine college.
Yeah, you completed both your master's degree and dual doctorate degrees, DNP and a PhD in nursing from the University of San Diego. Was there something earlier in your life that, do you think, led you down that path?
Life happens. When you're the oldest nurse practitioner in the department and the most highly paid, you got to move on. They find people to replace you. And I had to reinvent myself. So I went back to school to get a doctorate in nursing practice. And that brought me to academia. I started teaching in a wonderful nurse practitioner program. And I was told a doctorate in nursing practice is probably not a terminal degree in academia. You really need to think about working on a PhD. So I did. I jumped right in. My first year as a professor, I applied to a PhD program. I think I was out of my mind. And it just sort of evolved. I never intended to get a PhD. I shied away from a PhD. At one time, I did apply for a public health doctorate degree, and I got turned down. First time in my life, I applied to something and I got turned down, and that was humbling.
Right.
But I moved on from that. So sometimes you just have to reinvent yourself and look for new ways of being.
Yeah, you do. You have to repurpose the whole bit. Your work is regarded as groundbreaking, a collaboration with the medical community as significantly, you've contributed to pioneering the role of orthopedic nurse practitioners, helping to establish new standards of orthopedic care that continue to benefit patients today. You're sort of like a Florence Nightingale of today, aren't you, in some way? Speaking of which, May, of course, is her birthday, isn't it?
Yes.
All right.
I'm celebrating it.
Aren't you doing some sort of signings back in...
I am offering my digital book for 99 cents for the month of May to celebrate all nurses. And I'm returning to my hometown in Duluth, Minnesota, where I'll be doing an author signing at Fitger's Mall Bookstore and the Zenith Bookstore. I'm so looking forward to returning to my hometown to do that.
I bet you are. I bet you are signing. Did you ever think you'd be doing book signings?
Never.
That's good to hear, because the show is about people who have broken through, have a dream, something to share. And you've got a life, 4 decades of work here that you've
Mark,
got some...
Mark, I have to interrupt you. I have to clarify something you said.
Oh, okay.
I worked with a team of nurse
yes.
practitioners around the country to develop an orthopedic nurse practitioner certification.
There you go.
I did not do anything myself. Everything happens in collaboration.
Sure. All right. So I make a note of that as well. There was a team, 4 decades, but it has earned, recognition from your peers, what you have done, has it not? Like the California Association for Nurse Practitioners, the prestigious Bridging Healthcare Needs Award. And didn't your employer further honor your contributions with both the Everyday Hero Award and a Community Service Award?
That's the David Lawrence Community Service Award for volunteering in a community clinic as a nurse practitioner. Yes, they did.
Okay. So, you're allowed to pat yourself on the back, my dear. In fact, I got 7 pages here of accolades, the most I've ever had on a book, Between Wounded and Well, Lessons in Healing. And it's not a bestseller yet, but it's getting that way, isn't it?
I don't look.
It's on Amazon. But what you do is you go here. Let me show you this one. We go here. I want to make sure this is correct. There we go. All right. Now, this is the website. Well, it shouldn't have a gap there, right? But I can fix that. Look, I do things on the cuff. Let's go like that. And let's make this closer, just in case somebody is actually, being literal with us. And I don't want them not being able to go to your site to buy the book. So how's that? It's got the other way.
I also want to give a plug for all independent bookstores, all bookstores, not just Amazon. It's available everywhere.
Good.
Digital, and now an audiobook just came out in December.
Oh, fabulous. Are you happy with that?
I am. I got my first 2 audiobook reviews. They were wonderful.
All right. So what are your 7 practices? I know you have 7 practices in the book, right?
Do you think I memorized them? No, but I will tell you, I'll break them down and group them for you.
Yeah.
There's our physical health. We have to address sleep, adequate sleep, nutrition, activity, and stress management. Our emotional well-being. We have to prioritize our emotions and recognize that they're nothing more than our messengers that connect our thoughts with what our body should do. You should
Okay.
listen to anger and fear. They should motivate you to think about what's causing it and how to act on it. So that's the emotional part of it. And you
Right.
should seek resources. We're not meant to be in life as an island all alone. If you need resources for your physical health, your emotional, mental health, financial health, professional health, seek out services. Don't try to do it all alone.
Good advice. Good advice. I mean, the more you read about medicine these days, doctors don't even believe when people come back from like an NTA experiences. You must have seen an awful lot of things in your career over a period of time. Did religion have anything to do with, I mean, with your healing journey personally? Did religion, have an important role in that, do you think?
I think my spirituality, I think religion is a man-made theology thing, but it can be both that and a spiritual connection with the Creator. And yes, that had a huge impact on my healing journey, acknowledging the presence of a God that loves us, that wants to be in connection with us, and that caring relationship that can carry your burdens when you can't,
Right.
that can guide you using sacred scriptures. Yes, that had a huge part of my growing up and healing.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Why can't healing happen, as you say, in isolation? I mean, what role do others play overall in this scene?
Right. So going back to what healing is, it's this process of giving and receiving our gifts, talents, time, resources, our presence. It happens not in isolation. We're always accepting something or giving something. And it's in that giving that we develop a clear understanding of purpose and meaning in life. And that requires a relationship with others. That's why I say you can't do it in isolation.
Right, right. The book, by the way, folks, Between Wounded and Well, is Lessons in Healing. It's paperback, what was it, $18.99, is it? And the ebook was $9.99, but you're doing a special, right?
99 cents during May to celebrate nurses.
To celebrate nurses. And I mentioned Florence Nightingale. I don't know what date it was, but I know May 6th, was it?
The 6th through the 12th is National Nurses Week.
That's right. That's the actual, all the good nurses. Thank you for the wonderful work you do and the service you do. Boy, oh boy, I've been in a hospital enough to know over my life, just what a wonderful job.
We have two legislators in Congress right now that are nurses that have put in legislation requests to announce 2026 the power of nursing in celebration of the American Nurses Association's 130th anniversary. So I just want to put a plug in for that. I hope it passes.
Of course, why not? I mean, we may be recording this like late April, the beginning of May, but at the end of the day, it stays around a long time, so it doesn't hurt to still promote, does it? What about childhood drama, childhood trauma? You talk about how it impacts adulthood.
Yes. I did not fully appreciate or understand it till even way after Dr. Folletti's study, which discovered the more adversities a child experiences while their brain is developing, the greater the risk for chronic diseases. Because there's damage to the brain when we have high stress levels. The cortisol levels cause some damage to parts of our brain that help us self-soothe. And that can lead to things like addictions, overeating. You get chronic diseases from that: hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, smoking, oversexing, STDs. It goes on and on and on. So besides those physical risks of chronic diseases, the child learns to be on high alert when they're dealing with trauma every day. Wow. And I think that alters our neurology, our nervous system. They get used to living in chaos. And for me, I discovered those folks that are used to being in chaos, They're always doing. They're the savior. They're the fixer. They're overcommitting. They're overextending their calendar, their time, their resources. They're always giving, but they don't receive as much as they should because they self-deny. They don't see their value and purpose. And I think that is a common phenomenon in people who have raised in a lot of adversity,
Right.
until they come to recognize and understand how it affected them, and they develop more of a self-respect and healthy boundaries to minimize that overstimulation of the nervous system, and then to do some self-care, get more sleep, rest, take time out for going for a walk, enjoying nature, self-soothing in healthy ways, not overeating, smoking, drugs, alcohol.
Yeah, well, what you're saying is 100% correct. Now, I want to be able to show this here because there are so many of them, folks. They're all going to be actually up on her bio and on the site on Mark Bishop Media, where the headshots go and the bios go of everybody that is interviewed regardless, plus Nothing Like a Good Book. But just to read a couple with you to share, because you won't be able to read. I tried to put them all on, but they're not there. I loved how raw and real Debra was in telling her story. I laughed and cried a few times, and she gave me food for thought about how my own difficult relationships. Valerie Costa, author, editor, and coach in Vermont, I think. Let's have a look here. Ann Walsh is an adult nurse practitioner, wound care specialist, and founder of Wound Care Pro, APP in New York. I love the relationship to the wound healing stages. It was very inspiring and will be great for others to read. Be inspired and empowered. Amazing accomplishments through tough situations. I thought it was well written and a wonderful tribute to your family. How about that? And let me find another really good one. There's so many here. This one here. Well, writer Lauren Lee, she's a good writer and an editor. Between Wounded and Well is the groundbreaking memoir of author Debra Palmer. It's an in-depth look at the effects of childhood trauma, difficult family dynamics and relationships, and the struggles of a young mother. Well, that leads me to ask you, all right, share, or can you, or do you want to, or not, share a little bit about your early days?
I think what's most startling to most people is I was a mother at the age of 14. I was wanting to give the baby up for adoption to protect the baby from my dysfunctional family filled with neglect and abuse. But it didn't happen that way. I'm so blessed to be the mother of my 54-year-old son now. But that is what gave me purpose at that stage of life.
Okay. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Because, you're not Robinson Crusoe, are you? There's a lot of people out there with stories like that,
yes,
who don't know what to do, don't know where to go. Maybe they can take something from it. The Eileen Fry Bowers, who's a PhD and a JD, Dean and Professor at the University of San Francisco, the School of Nursing and Health Professions. She says, Dr. Deb Palmer, she calls you Deb, she shares her story in an authentic and poignant manner, recounting in vivid detail how her life was shaped by adverse childhood experiences and generational trauma. Remarkably, her story is one of growth, acceptance, and hope, told in a way that only a nurse can tell it. I love that.
I did
there's so
too.
many pages and pages. A credit to you. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done, my dear. What do you want readers to take away from your memoir?
I think the main thing is never give up hope. Always believe in a better tomorrow.
Yes, always believe in a better tomorrow. Never give up hope. I'm a great believer of that one. Never give up. Do you have plans, Debra, to write more in the future, do you think?
I'm currently working on a daily devotional that was kind of spurred out of the last chapter of my book when I was just stuck. I didn't know what to do once I retired. And I got a message, read the Lord's Prayer every day. And I have been journaling on the Lord's Prayer And I am now writing devotionals based on that journaling process. My book was the outcome of 40 years of journaling. I condensed all my journals to write the outline for the book.
Right.
So I'm working on that. And my dream is to finish Between Two Rivers, 4 series about the French fur trading and Native American families that lived in the Midwest. Started our first trading post along the Mississippi River because I found out while memoir writing that I am the descendant of Chief Wabasha of the Lakota tribe and an Ojibwe princess. So I want to write a historical novel about that.
Yeah, that would be interesting. All right. And what probably would be interesting too is some sort of medicinal aspect in there, maybe healing, maybe herb, because you're going back years now with history. There's got to be something in the genes somewhere that got you in that direction. You know what I mean?
I do. I believe in memory crosses genes.
Exactly. And, instead of doing, some would say, well, all those years that I've, been there with nursing and death and getting well and this and that you might go off and write another book in reference to, what people say when they're dying, what they share, what they see, what they don't see, this type of thing. But I don't know. I think you stay away from that. You've already got a winner with this one. It's more about what people should be really doing. John Kelly, he's a one we always do at the Detroit Free Press. He says this is a journey worth taking as Palmer finds her own answers and helps the reader discover ways to find theirs. Highly recommended. And if John says that, it's worth it. Oh, look, there's hundreds of them. They're all going to be on the site. Have a look. The book is Between Wounded and Well. And this is where you go, well, where do I get it, Mark? Tell me. There. Just go to this website, https:// right? No wwws. DebraPalmer.com. Isn't that simple? DebraPalmer.com. And what will I get on the site? If I go to the site with my cup of joe and in my pudgies, my pajamas, what am I going to read? What am I going to see on your site?
Yeah, there are several other podcasts that have been recorded, but there are two links at the bottom where you can click to either Amazon or Barnes & Noble. I will hopefully get other links up there soon for the audiobook, and then a little bit of bio about me.
Okay, that's good. All right. And is there anything before we close that you really want to share that you'd like to get open, like to really make sure it gets home, so to speak?
I think I said it earlier. We don't heal by avoiding pain. We heal by moving through it. And don't be afraid of it. And when we fight and struggle, kind of like the waves in the ocean, the more you fight it, the harder it gets.
Right. That's a good analogy, isn't it? That's a good analogy. Debra Palmer, thank you so much for sharing with us. I think it's a great book. I think it's going to do well.
Thank you.
And is there a specific target age group per se that you think this would go better for? Or
a good question. I think it will resonate more with women than men from about age 30 to 70, right. Particularly those that have been in caregiving, struggling with their own journey from wounded to well, or professional healthcare providers. There's also a large audience of Christian women that I think would be drawn to this. I've recently written a reader's guide for Christian women Bible studies and a reader's guide for nurses. But the general population, I think, will also, it'll click because they'll know somebody or personally be in the midst of their own understanding of healing as a holistic process.
Yeah, because you cover so much in relation, as you say, the holistic process. It is for I think also, to me, it makes a lovely gift. I think.
Especially for the new graduating nurses right now, or Mother's Day for nurses.
There you go. There's a good thing coming up. Break a leg, as we say, but, Between Wounded and Well, Lessons in Healing, Dr. Debra Palmer, PhD, on the show. And just go to that site there. Everything's on the site with a click, and you can buy it in all sorts of places. And but there is a special on, don't forget, 99 cents only. And you're going to be, before we go, I just want you to repeat the two places again. And actually, there's also a Mexican restaurant, of all things, I think, in Duluth that is doing a promotion for you.
Oh, you heard, yes.
Which is
After the
very nice.
Fitgers Mall signing Saturday, May 9th, we're going to go out to lunch. There's a local Mexican restaurant. I lived in San Diego for 40 years. I love Mexican food, and so that's where we're going.
Okay. But the two actual signings again, for those just jotting it down now quickly, what dates and where? There's two particular book places, right?
May 6th, Wednesday night, Zenith Bookstore, Central Avenue, Duluth, Minnesota. May 9th, Fitgers Mall on Superior Street from 11 to 1:30.
There we go. May 6th and May 9th in those two places. Go and say hello. Shake a hand. Give her a hug. Whatever.
Yeah, come see me.
And, get the book signed. That's lovely. Thanks, Debra. Lovely to meet you. Lovely having you on the show.
Oh, it's been a joy to be here. Thank you.
That's good. It's nice to see somebody write something that they've experienced so many years in, and they want to give and they want to share. They want that to come out. And I think that'll be a winner, don't you? I think so. But anyway, dedicated to authors, we're discovering your book when we can. It doesn't matter if it's a little ebook, doesn't matter what the heck it is. It's your baby. It came from the heart. You wrote it. And if you want to tell it to the world, this is a good place to start and do it. Go to nothinglikeagoodbook.com. Do me that favor. Go there, have a look, check all the reviews if you like, and you can also see all the different authors going across the top of the page that we've interviewed and the style of their books and so on. It's got terrific thumbnails in front there of the covers of the books. And also there's a growth wheel there. And if you are an author and you'd like to consider doing some marketing extra, whatever, have a look, see, we'll talk about it. Whatever your budget may be is comfortable, has to be comfortable. And you need to get what you're paying for, don't you? That's the other thing. Okay. That's what we're about. Lovely to have you on the show. And we're going to be back soon, but do me a favor. Did that, what do you call it on YouTube? That's right. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell and do all that jazz because it helps us all. We really appreciate that because the more help we can get, the more authors we can do and the more opportunities they may get.